Alright guys, this evening we got something a little different for you. We're going to find out if either me or Kelly has got a radio voice.
Me. 100% me.
I'm sorry, I think that I have the radio voice. I have the deep baritone.
Well, I think I have the better voice when it comes to talking to people. Yes, hi.
That's just disturbing. But anyway, we'll let you know what's going on right after the intro. All right, we're here in Munford, Tennessee at the studio of Logan and Bobby, the Talk Dirt to Me podcast. And they invited us to be on their show tonight to, I guess, talk about farming or whatever else comes up.
Yeah, man.
Talk about something. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Farming.
Farming,
Talk about.
right, talk about, I don't know, man, whatever comes up. We don't let anything go, you know.
Just let the topics lead where they may.
We do. We let it go. It'll have an ag direction. We'll go in that direction.
All right.
But we are really pumped to hear your history. Y'all got a ton of history and excited for that as well.
All right, we'll start off that and see where it goes. But anyway, I'll include part of the podcast on this video. But if you want to see the entire podcast, be sure to go to the Talk Dirt to Me. They're on YouTube, Spotify. Where else?
Everywhere. And our website's talkdirtpodcast.com, and it has pretty much everything
Wherever
on there.
you want to find us.
Yeah, all our links are on there. But yeah, all podcast platforms and YouTube is best place. Instagram. So we're all over the place.
All right, so stay tuned. You'll see part of the podcast here. See the whole thing. Be sure to search out them on one of the platforms we mentioned to see the whole thing and any other podcasts they've done in the past or coming up in the future. All right, just to give you a little behind the scenes view of the studio here. It looks big on camera when you're watching the podcast, but we just got a little barn here. They've retrofitted, soundproofed, got lights, camera, microphones, everything. So tonight, me and Kelly gonna find out which one of us has got the radio voice.
That would be me. Thank you very
I
much.
doubt that.
Move the stuff around, get comfortable.
All right, so how do we need to really talk? Let me put it close to it.
Yeah, that is one thing.
Oh my! Look at this. Now I feel like I'm short. I got a booster seat.
All right, I'm not used to this. Oh, we gotta put the headphones. I get to wear the headphones tonight too.
You'll be able to hear.
You know what? Y'all need to get you some good chairs.
Yeah, we gotta.
It took me probably a year to learn to talk to the mic. Logan would be like, "You gotta get closer."
Yeah, Bobby Lee
I
would
would back away.
He would just slowly get further and further away.
I'm caught. Hold on.
Yeah, you might have to move the wire and wiggle it around if you need to.
And then listeners would be mad. They're like, "Can't hear it."
Can't hear it. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Can you
messed up my hair.
say something in your ear, see if you can hear yourself good?
Testing, 1, 2,
You
3.
need more volume, or are you good?
I think that sounds pretty good.
Okay.
That is an official radio voice.
Yeah, man, it is. I got your level cranked up. You're ready to go.
Oh, this is funny.
We some high tech rednecks tonight.
So I don't understand any of this. This is all Logan.
Can you see? I can't see because of my light. Can you see everybody
Yeah,
in the camera?
yeah, we're all on front.
All
on that.
right, good deal.
When did you get so short?
I don't know. When did you get so short?
Is there anything y'all need us to do on there?
I think we're good. I think all this is gonna be golden.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
you gonna take a picture of
All right,
us?
we gotta do the selfie.
Yeah.
My camera's better. Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
Yeah, got hydraulic oil all over it.
There you go.
Let me just show you the difference between phones. Really? You have to turn it around,
Oh
honey.
yeah, help turn it around.
You can't even
There
get
we
me
go.
in it. Hello?
We're in there. There we go.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, we both got
Professional.
a lot of stuff we'd like to run down too. All right.
We are good with any question, any subject, any topic.
Oh, wait a
Awesome.
minute. Is this a PG?
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, we're all in there.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, good evening.
We got an awesome episode. We know we love it when we can get in-house guests.
Yeah.
And we got some in-house and local farmers here. We're pumped to have Matt and Kelly Griggs join us.
I don't know how local we are. The topography really looks a lot different than what I'm used to on the drive down here.
This is true.
Does it really? Is it a lot
Well, a
different?
lot of flat ground. Like, I don't know what that's like.
Oh, well, okay.
Y'all are more hilly?
Definitely. A lot more houses, a lot more trees, a lot more hills.
Yeah.
You just go a little further west of here and get to my house, and you'll find some.
Yeah,
hills.
Bobby Lee's got a farm that, you could definitely turn a sprayer over on.
My niche has been we bought the marginal ground that nobody wants to row crop, and that's perfect for cows.
That's my specialty too. We farm the ground nobody else wants to farm.
We farm the little patches that nobody wants to farm.
Yeah.
But see, I'm putting cows on my ground. You're still row cropping it.
Yeah, I'm not a cattle person, most definitely.
No.
So, you've kind of intrigued me already though. There's more houses.
More and more every single year. You can't drive down the road one week after the next without seeing somebody laying out a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, y'all were talking about right across from here, the neighborhood. And that's, both of us can remember, we used to shoot doves over there. And we farm on the backside of that, and we're actually farming it, and we're losing sections because they're further developing the land. Like it's sold and they're just letting us keep working it.
Well,
Yeah, but it's becoming more and more difficult to get to, I bet.
Yeah.
Well,
it will.
The landowner over there now is the big developer, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a 400 house project in the works. Is that right?
I want to say
like
so.
that.
Yeah, they've put a. See,
it'll all be houses, in the very near future.
Yeah. And I even tried to buy it because the bad part was we found out when they sold it cheap. Like it was actually pretty cheap what they paid for it. And I own the ground that joins it. And so I'm like, crap, now it's going to be houses right up
it's kind
there.
of hill ground. Like it's not a lot of,
some of it's
prime
not very
ground.
productive. Yeah. But
I would still stand my ground and still farm it with all the houses around it.
just keep on.
Just keep on keeping on.
Well, the big problem I see with both development and what we see solar farms and everything else is these developers, they want the farm ground. It's already been cleared off. It's generally pretty flat. It's easy to build on. There's not a lot of money in clearing off and preparing the ground and everything. But that there's a finite supply of farm ground, and once a house is built, it'll never be farm ground again. Where's the breaking point of where we got enough ground to provide for the growing population? At some point there's going to be a breaking point. Where's it at?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we had, one of our good kind of childhood friends that works for Helena now, Justin Payne, on a few months ago.
Yeah.
And he works more across the river in Arkansas. He's like, solar panel farms going up every day, and it's not on marginal ground.
No.
Like it is on prime farm ground. So I don't know. Have y'all been west on 40 through Arkansas in a while?
I try not to go in Arkansas. Those roads are terrible over there.
They are terrible.
Thought I-40 past Memphis was bad. Go past.
Well, there's that huge solar farm project, and it is on the interstate right there, just on the north side.
Yes, I saw that the other day.
And it's like, and part of me is like, well, yeah, they're putting it right there on the interstate because, they want the good publicity of, whoever this group is.
Look how green we are.
Yeah, but yeah, it's on prime farmland.
Yeah, but I'm not against solar farms. I think we need alternative forms of energy, but you put a solar panel anywhere.
Yeah.
You put them on rooftops.
Exactly.
Put them in the divider down the interstate. You can put them anywhere.
Yeah.
Why you got to put them on farmland?
Well,
yeah, exactly. Somewhere where you're not taking away from
the best,
highly productive ground.
The best farm that I had last year is 120 acres in one block. I hardly ever find that anymore. But flat, and the beans, they were the best beans I had. And I lost that. I knew it was a 1-year deal, and it's a solar company that they're covering it up with solar panels. I actually drove out in this area. It's out in Millington. I had lost one farm over there like the year before, and then I lost this farm last year, or coming into this season. They bought over 1,000 acres of some of the best flat prime farm ground out there. And and they pay crazy money. They're paying these guys. They pay them like $15,000 an acre. And some of the people are 70.
Are they buying or leasing the ground?
They bought this ground. Yeah, because that's what I was kind of hoping, I'm like, maybe they'll lease it and nothing will ever happen. And, then it'll just kind of dissolve. But they actually purchased this land. And, but they do, they offer, the guys that held out, the landowner that I was dealing with there was 160 acres I was working. He was the last guy to sign. He kept telling them no, because he'd call me and he'd be like, I hate these sons of bitches from Silicon Valley. Like, that's what he'd be like, all these California bastards. And so he was like, I kept telling him no, but they bought everything around him. And he said, my farm's going to be surrounded by solar panels. He said, once they build them, he said, the value of my property is going to tank. And he said, and I don't want to be surrounded by freaking solar panels. And so he had kept telling them no. So then they just, every time he'd tell them no, they'd come back with more money. Mm-hmm. They just kept coming back with more money. And finally they offered him so much. He's 70 something years old. And he was like, man, at this point, he's like, it is what it is. And so, I don't know what that's what I've said. We went to Utah and there's some ground out there that ain't good for nothing. I'm like, why don't they just cover this place up with freaking solar panels?
So the moral of the story is don't ever take the first offer.
Don't take the first offer. Yeah.
Just hold out. Yeah. Hold out.
Any landowners out there listening, do not take the first offer.
Yeah. Oh, he took I bet you he took the 7th offer. He was like, just kept telling them no. Where, we didn't tell everybody, tell them where y'all farm.
Yeah.
No, we got off the weeds real quick.
We did. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Talking about developers.
Yeah, where are y'all at?
Go ahead, Kelly. You didn't talk much.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're in Humboldt, Tennessee. Actually, we're 13 miles northwest of Jackson.
Okay.
So about 80% of our farms are in Madison County. And then the other, would you say about 20%?
It's about 50-50, Crockett and Madison. We're right on the border of the two counties.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're in Crockett County with a Humboldt address.
And Humboldt's in Gibson County, so that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? But the farm's been around since 1882, so I think, God, you look back on some of the records that we have in the office, it's like, Route 5, and then it was...
Yeah, that was our old mailing address, Route 5.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to Mason Grove, and, then they changed our actual address, because we live on the corner of, 2 streets.
Yeah.
You're no longer this road anymore, you're over here.
Yeah.
Even had the bank call, did you guys move your house? We're like, no, the 911 address moved our address.
That's pretty wild. 1882. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't have as many fingers to count, but it's like 140 years.
Yeah.
I'm 5th generation, as far back as I've been able to track my history was 1882. That's when my great-great-grandfather moved the cotton gin about 5 miles from the highway to where it is now.
Yeah.
It was Mason Grove was actually a up-and-coming community for quite a few years, and then the railroads got built and went through. They decided to build the railroad through Gadsden, which is about 2.5 miles down the road. So Mason Grove kind of just stopped growing, and Gadsden grew.
So tell us who started the operation? Your grandfather?
My great-great-grandfather is the one that moved the cotton gin, and that's, like I said, that's as far back as I've been able to track history. We're a certified Tennessee Century Farm, and through deeds records. Unfortunately, everybody that really knew the history of our family passed away before I cared enough about to ask about it. My granddad passed away when I was 18. My dad passed away when I was 25. And when I was 25, I didn't care about family history.
Yeah. So did all of it, did every generation they farmed? Was there other occupations they did as well, or were they able to make a living?
I forget how many kids my great-great-grandfather had, but Willis Wayne Griggs was his son, and he kind of took over the cotton gin. So it was all about cotton ginning early on. Yeah, we grew some cattle, maybe grew a few acres of whatever, but it was the cotton gin was our industry.
Gotcha.
So Willis Wayne, my great-grandfather, took over the operation, and then his son James Wayne Griggs took over the operation after that, and then my dad, he's one of 2 brothers. He started working with my granddad, and my dad was more interested in farming, and he really kind of started expanded the operation into, more of a not just a side business, more of a main business. And then my dad didn't want any part to do with the cotton gin because, I mean, at that time it was a small gin. They needed a lot of dollars in upgrades. Labor was hard to find. He just didn't want the headache. So the cotton gin ended with my granddad, and we ginned our last crop in 1995. My granddad passed away in 97. And then I graduated college in 02, worked with my dad for 3 years before he suddenly got ill in the middle of 2005, actually during planting season.
Oh, man.
And passed away like a month later. And then I'm there at 25 years old thinking I know everything about farming, don't know squat about farming. And, I'm the only one there that can run the farm. And only by the grace of God, we survived. I mean, we took some pretty big hardships. We had the worst drought in 50-something years in 07, 2 years after I took over the farm, lost $100,000 that year. And, we definitely taken our lumps along the way, but we've learned a lot and really, really proud of what it's become.
Yeah. And the craziest part is we were dating when his dad passed away. So here, here comes me, the Yankee from Chicago, and dating a man who's, I thought it was cool. Like our first date, he took me out and showed me the shop, and in was the cotton picker. And I was like, that is so cool. I have to know how that works.
Yeah.
And then took me out on the 4-wheeler, and I was like, God, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And then not only that, I had 2 kids from a previous relationship, and I was a single parent. And here we are dating, and his dad passes away. And I told him, I said, well, I guess we're doing this. And then we were married, less than a year being together. Yeah. And I mean, that's how you did it old school, you know? You just didn't do this like, we're going to date for 5 years. I'm like, look, this is it. I mean.
How long have you been married?
Oh, good God.
Seems like forever.
It would be 18 years, honey.
Hey, whatever she said, I'll trust that number.
No, yeah, we've been together 19 years this month. So
wow, that's awesome.
It goes fast.
Yeah. And like you said, in y'all's area, y'all recently had issues, which Bobby Lee and I talked about at the chicken litter fiasco. Like, cause y'all
the whole urban sprawl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did it finally get things worked out?
I guess our understanding, the city council of Jackson have just decided to drop the matter. It's not going to be permanent. I mean, people are going to continue to complain about it, and they're going to become more and more vocal.
Yeah.
It'll be an issue.
And, I don't think that's the last we've seen at the issue, but I mean, right now it's dead. I mean, technically it ought to be dead regardless. Tennessee is a right to farm.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to take credit for it, but I wrote them a letter.
Well,
so it was solely you. You did it.
I appreciate it.
I did. You had me fired up. Y'all had that video. I was like, damn it.
I think I reached out to Kustoff. I did call Kustoff.
I mailed. I did the old snail mail.
Bobby Lee likes to send letters. Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of people who sent letters.
We had a viewer in Louisiana. Send a letter, and he actually copied me on the email.
Well, that's awesome.
I live in Louisiana, but y'all doing this guy wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends in Georgia and Florida send, actual emails and letters, and then we come to find out, there was a lot of pressure. And not only that, but
that's
I think
good.
the lawyer,
we're outnumbered. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, we are. But I mean, I know I spent all night one night. I typed up a 7-page letter, and I got scientific. I was trying to find studies, and I actually had citations in my letter and everything saying all these claims, environmental quality and stuff. All this stuff is bogus, and then explain our reasoning behind it. And I've seen it. Of course, we called a lot of different organizations, Farm Bureau, the NCGA, the ASA, and I had all of them, type up letters of support. Funny thing is, the one place we had no support from was Tennessee Department of Agriculture.
Really?
Well, in fact, we had. I've got a friend that works with the TDA, and he was fired up about it. He's like, this is not right. We got a right to farm state. They have no legal leg to stand on. And he was told by his superiors to cease and desist any activities on that matter. And
Why?
I'm not going to name any names or anything, and I don't know why. He didn't know why, but in my letter I argued that these same people complaining, we got a Chick-fil-A on Van Drive in Jackson, and at noon every day you can't get down Van Drive because people are blocking the road trying to get in Chick-fil-A parking lot.
Yeah.
All these same people that are blocking the road, causing pollution with their cars sitting there idling, waiting to get in to eat chicken, are the same ones complaining about what I'm doing with the waste from the said chickens that they're about to eat.
Yeah.
Their literal byproduct. Yeah. I'm literally making their product cheaper by allowing them to monetize a byproduct. Yeah.
Well, what really got me too is the fact that a lot of these people that would be attacking you, they'd be the same ones that'd be like, farmers need to be more regenerative and sustainable. And it's like, you're literally using
right
a
now
natural fertilizer.
and I'll only buy organic and all, which is the biggest hoax in America today.
It is.
I agree with that.
And it's crazy because that's the thing we're doing. You're asking us to change. We change.
Yeah.
We cut back on synthetics. We find ways to make it better. We're using nature with nature. We're telling everybody, hey, we're putting vitamins in the soil, making things healthy.
But it smells
But
bad
not
for
in
a
my-
couple
not in
days.
my
so
backyard.
bad.
Yeah, well, I mean,
not in my
that's
backyard.
nature.
Do that somewhere else.
Nature smells bad.
Yeah. I mean, that unfortunately is the perception that a lot of people have.
Well, but farmers only have themselves to blame for that. Yeah, we're a small part of the population, but in general, us as farmers, we just want to be left alone to do what we're passionate about. Whereas we passed the turning point a long time ago where we need to be vocal as far as telling people what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. We can't just stick our heads in the sand and think everybody's going to appreciate what we do.
Yeah.
We have to educate the public.
Well, and I feel like that's probably why y'all do YouTube like you do. A big reason.
I mean, it started out as a big reason. We started out on Facebook in 09 or 10, sharing our lives and farming and everything. And then in 2017, we got approached about the TV show on the History Channel, the American Farm, and filmed it in 18. And we're like, man, we really have an opportunity now. Kelly and I discussed this a lot before we actually went on. Like, we really have an opportunity to put agriculture in the mainstream in a positive light. I mean, this is kind of what our calling can be. And unfortunately, that was very short lived. It only lasted one season, but then, after that, we kind of turned to YouTube. I started YouTube before, but just doing like harvest videos set to music so I could look back years from now, see what our equipment was, what our operation looked like. But then after being on the show and everything we learned about filming and telling a story and everything, like we can continue this. And that really kind of what kicked off our YouTube is geared towards the general public, it kind of explaining what we do and hopefully entertaining them a little bit. And then it kind of morphed from there that we go places like farm shows and people recognize us like farmers and like, hey, I watch you and I appreciate, we've learned about how you farm and it's really helped our operation. So we realize it's just not the general public. There's other farmers out there that watch and want to learn from us. So we started including content geared more towards farmers too, trying to hit multiple different audiences and doing different videos targeted on different things. And it's kind of grown, and we try and do a little something for everybody. We don't have just one thing, one kind of format that we focus on our platform.
Well, I enjoyed the show. I watched that show because it was like, wasn't it 4 different families that kind of went around? Five. Okay. Yeah. Because I remember that one, the one tripped me out. It was the black guy and his son.
Lord, do we talk about that?
Yeah. Like I couldn't tell if he was, I couldn't tell what was going on there, but it was pretty comical. Like the one I can remember, he left him to like plow a field or something.
God.
The only thing I'll say about that is I can tell you some stories after we get off there.
Yeah, we can.
We'll
lots
leave it at that.
But it's crazy because, it started off with an email, and I saw a friend of mine had sent it to me saying they were looking for 5th generation or higher.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, that's us. And they were just going to do a documentary about how your farm started.
Yeah.
So I sent this really sarcastic email and just was livened it up, like, hey, city girl marries a redneck, we got 2 kids and we're doing this on our own. And it just morphed from there. And it's crazy because when they came to film, you know, here I have this man standing in my kitchen, and I Googled him like, 2 hours before they showed up. And I was like, oh my God, do you realize what we got into? This man has Emmy Awards for Deadliest Catch and Ice Road Truckers. What are we doing? Like, this is no. Like, we're in so deep right now. And, you know, the kids were little.
Yeah.
Well, Paige had actually started, she was in college and Nate was in high school, and Carter was, you know, the cute little redheaded 8-year-old who just, he was so fun. And, you know, that age is a good age and everybody loved him. And, you know, never thought in a million years that it would be something positive. And at that point in my life, I was miserable because we said, look, we're not going to make up anything. You're not going to tell us to do something we don't want to do.
Yeah, nothing's going to be staged.
Nothing's going to be staged.
I told because they showed up like the first week, and then the head producer called me like, hey, we need to see this, this, and this.
Like, I need a hydraulic hose to explode.
No, he literally said, can you get the tractor stuck? I said, wait a day.
I told them, look, trust me.
You trust us.
Stuff's going to happen. Just make sure you keep your cameras rolling.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like disasters after disasters just kept on happening to us that year. Like we had the tractor burn up. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up.
Oh, I actually had a guy ask me to my
Truth is stranger
face.
than fiction. Yeah.
He said, did you guys set that tractor on fire for views? I went, why the heck would I say? Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's like, well, you know how TV is. I go, oh no, we were on vacation and got a phone call that it caught on fire. And Matt and I were like, oh my God.
If I make a season and I don't have to work on it, then it is a God's miracle.
Does that happen?
Does that happen?
It's-
I have
I've
no
yet to
idea what
see
that
it.
means.
Well, I don't even want to say anything. 'Cause, yeah.
I've heard miss, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
Just like that roller bigger we bought, you know, we got really blessed with it. but
I was
then-
there when y'all bought that.
Oh yeah, and I was staring with my fingers chopped off at the guy, like, so I'm standing behind Matt, and the guy's like, he keeps going at it, and I just raise my 2 fingers and cast like, keep going, buddy, I dare you. Like, and then Matt, he finally, like, another friend of mine came behind me, and they're like, oh, you guys gonna get it? And I was like, I don't know, can you be quiet about it?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Matt turns around, they said sold, and he looks at me and goes, oh my God. I was like, did we just buy a
I still
picker?
got gravel on my beard from my jaw hitting the ground.
Hey, y'all got a great deal on that thing, though.
Oh, we did, and I mean, I feel I wasn't prepared because, like, I just seen it that morning. I'd even just considered it that morning. I knew we needed to at some point in time, but like they haven't gotten down in price enough, and like, there's no way this one is. And you know, I went with a check because I always go to an auction check because you don't ever know. There's 2 of them there. We went and looked at that one first, and like, man, this thing's not wore out. We don't have to sink $80,000 into the heads. It's tight. It's dirty. It's got some blemishes, but it's old. But it was a model we're looking for. And then we looked at the other one, and like, it was complete trash. Like, you couldn't pay me to take this thing home.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It had like 3 or 4 fires in it. We're just like, nope.
It was pouring down the rain that day. Like,
It was a miserable day.
I mean, we'll see what it starts. We'll see what it starts at. It's not going to go for what we can afford, but you know, if it does, you know, it's something I'd bid on.
Yeah.
Anyway, truck got around there, still pouring down rain, and they opened a bid, and there's 2 guys bidding on it.
Yeah.
And I could tell that one of the guys about to pull out. It was down there like $140,000. Like, this other guy might get it. He ain't getting it for this.
Yeah.
I was like, get him, Matt, get him,
This
Matt.
what, a $250,000?
It's
more.
at least the lowest one I had seen that year with way more hours. This thing only had 1,776 hours on it. Low hour for 2010 model.
1776. How American is that?
Oh, it
Like,
was so American.
I've never had a picker that new.
yeah.
No.
So anyway, it started. I jumped in like 140,000. I'd set a limit at 160,000. Like, if we get it, I'm gonna have to absolutely steal it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he got the $160,000 bid, and they turned to me for 165. Like, I'm gonna give it one more bid. So they were at 165. I said chop it in half. I said do 162.5. So I did that, and the other guy, he all of a sudden backed out. I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
He literally turned around, looked at me, and was like, oh my God. I'm like, did we just buy a roller picker? And he's like, yeah.
And like this guy was talking to me, like I couldn't hear anything except the blood in my ears.
Yeah.
And then I realized he was wanting my number.
He's like, sir, you were having like in Saving Private Ryan
Yeah.
and Tom Hanks' shell shot.
That's
And they're
exactly
like,
how I felt.
Captain.
And I was like, oh God, we bought a bigger. And then he just turns around, they get his number. And I looked at him, he looked at me, and we went, oh shit.
I mean, I just looked over what I thought was like a $250,000 machine for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm very anal. I like to study on stuff. I like to take my time and decide. And
Yeah.
I don't make rash decisions like this. But I mean, there was more to it that we had to fix on than what we thought. But you know, I paid $162.5 for it. We sank probably around $45,000 into it.
Yeah.
I got a dang good picker, low hour picker for just a little over $200,000.
Yeah.
It wound up being a really great deal.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a miserable auction.
Yes,
yeah,
it
me
was.
and
God, I was so
Brock
mad.
actually went to that one, and Brock's cold when it's 80 degrees, so he was like freezing because it's soaking wet. And I gotta add one thing that I've been really wanting to ask you about, and I feel like it's a great year to ask about it because with prices down, I've read an article on AgWeb about y'all's low input soybeans,
Yeah.
and this is like extra piqued my curiosity. Is this something, I mean, I want to know the process. Like, how'd you, because, man, when I sit down and I'm putting the pencil to paper, mine ain't very cheap on the inputs. Is this because of what you've built the ground up to? Is that how you're able to do it, or what's your process?
Yeah, a lot of it's what we've done with soil health, cover crops, building fertility up to a level that I want to. And I actually saw your podcast where y'all were talking about this today. That's what I watched in the tractor all day was your podcast.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
He was like, I'm going to be stuck with these two idiots.
But yeah, that article you're talking about was written by Chris Bennett, and we were talking about chicken litter, and he asked me how my crops was, and I told him how good our soybeans was. So like, I'm gonna do another article on that. Well, we actually participated in the Tennessee Top Bean contest, and I had two separate trials. They both yielded identically at a hair over 91 bushels per
That's
acre.
pretty dadgum good.
But you know, I credit it all to the weather last year, sunlight. You know, we got them planted as early as I've ever gotten our beans planted before. I think April 20th to April 22nd is when we planted them. We had a very dry year last year, but we got just enough rain right in the nick of time.
Yeah.
But the key was, most of the times when we got that rain, we got it at night. So it was sunny the day it rained, and it was sunny the day after rain, but we got the moisture. So we got that extra sunlight.
Yeah, you weren't missing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the fertility on those farms was already good because I'd built it up in the past, and we're still in the building phase on some of our farms, but on a lot of them, we finally got them up to where I want them to be. So we just have to pretty much do like a crop removal type. Of course, chicken litter is a big part of our fertility program. Even though last year for my soybeans, it wasn't because we couldn't get the chicken litter. But you know, we planted them with minimal seed treatment, planted them green in the cover crop. We did, because of pigweed, we do have to spend a lot more on residuals than we want to. So we applied a good dose of residual at planting. No burn down before that. Well, we came back with a post-emergence herbicide pass, came back with a fungicide with a little bit of foliar fertilizer, and good Lord did the rest.
So you didn't
I mean, that
burn
was
down
it.
behind the planter?
No.
So you let them, it came up in the green?
No, we burned down right in front of the planter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right in front of the planter. But yeah, that particular farm wound up averaging like 81, 82 bushels an acre. We had $188 an acre in inputs on that
Total.
field.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
And people can't believe that. They're just like, I've gotten messages, how are you guys doing that? I'm like, well, look what we've been doing.
Our philosophy is like, you know, and we went down this path, you know, agriculture is getting highly technical, highly specific with all these little things you can do. How you buy this product, buy that product, mix and match them together, biological, like all this stuff's already out there in nature. We just got to create a habitat for it to flourish and not kill it. I don't need to spend all this $10 to $25 an acre on all these biologicals and stuff. It's already out there. I just got to make it flourish.
Yeah.
And that's what we do with, trying to have something green growing on our ground every month out of the year, using manure as our base fertilizer source and just trying to do things not to harm all of that stuff. I'm trying to simplify farming, get back to actually farming rather than being a chemist who grows stuff.
Yeah. So how did the planting green thing? I mean, have you seen any issues with that?
Oh Lord,
God.
yes.
Yeah.
We could,
every issue that everybody's complaining about says why they don't plant green anymore.
We've had it.
We've experienced, but you gotta go in with a mindset that for every problem there is a solution.
Yeah.
You just gotta find it. I mean, my first 3 years of planting green, we had some disasters.
Let's talk about how many times
disasters.
like the vetch got out of hand.
Yeah.
And
Like the first time I said I'm going to plant green was 2015. Corn and soybeans went along perfectly. I mean, you're planting deeper. The cover crop was, maybe this high at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's working pretty good. I know what I'm doing here.
yeah.
So anyway, then about 3 weeks later, it's time to plant cotton. Well,
was
this
that
cover
May?
crop that was, this cover crop that was this. Well, now it's at the hood of the tractor, and like, all right, well, I got a good Kinsey planter. I know, put it in the ground. I pulled in there, set that thing down, started planting cotton. I didn't make it 30 feet, and everything on that planter was locked up tight from it wrapping up.
Yeah.
And man, we had 500 acres of cotton to plant, and I mean, all day, every day, I was adjusting this, I was adjusting that. I was taking this off the planter, putting this on the planter, and just really nothing. I wasn't set up to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time.
I mean, we had a field, no joke, because it rained and then we couldn't get into it, and then it rained again and then couldn't get into it. It was over 8 foot tall, and it was right on the road, right by where everybody drives by. And I'm like, oh my God, we're so screwed.
And finally, after about 5 days of that, and I think I'd planted half a crop, 250 acres, I'm like, this ain't going to work. I got to do something different to get this cotton planted. So I visited Dave Brant, God rest his soul, the soil health guru in Carroll, Ohio, and I knew that he sold roller crimpers like nobody in Tennessee even knew what a roller crimper was. Nobody had ever seen one. I knew he sold them. I called him up at like noon, like, I need a roller crimper. I need it now. Well, that concludes this episode of the podcast, guys. I had a blast doing it. Hopefully we can get it together again sometime and doing it. Really appreciate the invite. Hope your podcast continues to grow and reach more people. I think it's got a whole lot of promise on teaching people about agriculture. So anyway, don't forget the Talk Dirt to Me podcast, YouTube, Spotify, all these different podcast platforms. I can't even begin to list them all. Go find them on there, support their channel, and anyway, guys, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you in the next one.